Also, this is not a mass and power exercise. You use deadlifts to build maximum strength in the lower back area, as you'll see in tape number 7. So stick to light to medium weight and very strict technique to get the most out of good mornings. Back routine number 1. Bent over rows. 4 sets of 10 reps. Behind the neck chins. 4 sets of 10 reps. Cable rows. 4 sets of 10 reps. Behind the neck or wide grip pull downs. 4 sets of 10 reps. Hyper extensions. 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps.
Don't monitor your progress based on the people you're around or the pictures you see in the magazines. Monitor your progress based on your commitment to your diet, your commitment to your working out, your intensity levels, and what you see in the mirror.
On one day, I may not do any T-bar. Everything will be cable. We'll do about 6 different movements. Some of which I've invented, I think, you know, long as it gets the job done. I'm very smart to a point. I don't want to use movements that are going to cause injury just for the sake of using extra weight. So cable work could be used extensively, but the weight will also be compatible to the movement.
Back routine number 2. T-bar rows. 4 sets of 10 reps. Front chins. 4 sets of 10 reps. One-arm dumbbell rows. 4 sets of 10 reps. Close grip pull downs. 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Good morning. 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps.
You take the back, for instance. I mean, the guys with the best backs in my day were guys like Eiferman, Jack Dillinger, and all these guys were
all past Mr. Americas.
All past Mr. Americas. All guys who were big into movements like bent over rowing, barbell bent over rowing. All had phenomenal backs. Ida and I were using 400 pounds 40 years ago in rowing. Yeah,
that's incredible. And how many repetitions?
8, 6s and 8s. But I think this is one of the things that molded the backs of that particular period. You know, if you look at the backs of that particular period, there were some great backs. Jack Dillinger's back way back in 48, 49 was comparable to a lot of guys today.
Right.
You know, Marvin Ida had the depth.
Rounded,
and I think that has to be done, but by the same rule. Not just that, not purely and simply that, but shape work with one-arm dumbbell work and overhead, so you work in scapular isolations, getting length of latissimus, not only getting depth of latissimus.
You really got to train your back, and you got to take more importance on form and not so much importance on weight. You don't have to become a bodybuilder in order to have a strong back and have a good posture, but you have to at least train it.
Control the weight. Don't let it control you. And the squeeze in the repetitions, control it. That brings in the detail. That brings in that growth to get you past the sticking point.
The biceps are a two-headed structure that originate at the shoulder and insert into the forearm below the elbow. Now, the basic exercise for the bicep is a curl, which is a one-jointed isolation movement that goes from the elbow. The basic function of the bicep, though, is to curl the forearm up to the shoulder, and that's going to oppose the strength of the tricep. Although they also help to lift the whole arm and to also supinate the forearm. This type of curl hits the muscles slightly different, but they all involve pulling the forearm up to the shoulder.
The biceps brachii is a two-headed muscle placed on the anterior aspect of the upper arm that flexes the arm, flexes the forearm, and supinates the hand. The long head draws the humerus, the upper arm bone, upward, strengthening the shoulder joint.
In biceps training, the emphasis is on control and isolation. Heavy weights aren't needed. Your back training gives you plenty of that. For example, heavy rowing, a two-joint movement, also puts a lot of demand on the biceps. You're better off concentrating on isolating the biceps to minimize the involvement of other muscles. Avoid the heavy, cheat type of movements. You'll find that some exercises are tougher than others to isolate the biceps. Standing barbell curls, for instance, must involve the front delts, traps, and lower back. Just keep concentrating on your biceps isolation as much as you can. It's easier with such exercises as the preacher curl. It's ideal for biceps isolation, as are many kinds of cable and machine curls.
Bodybuilders tend to drastically overtrain their arms. Both biceps and triceps are such small muscles, and as we said, they are subject to a lot of stress when you train your back, your chest, and your shoulders. So you don't need to do endless sets and reps during your arm workouts. I mean, 12 sets each for biceps and triceps is plenty. And I know a lot of bodybuilders who prefer doing less.
This is a good place to talk about supination. Any bodybuilder will tell you that to fully peak the biceps when you hit a pose, you need to twist the wrist or supinate it as far as possible. This applies to training as well. As you are lifting the weight during a dumbbell curl, twist the wrist slightly, turn your thumb outward as you do the curl.
Barbell curls are the closest thing to a mass builder you'll find in biceps training. However, since this is still a one-joint isolation exercise, you don't want to pile on too much poundage. Working too heavy means you have to cheat too much, and you end up building your traps and lower back rather than isolating your biceps. To do barbell curls effectively, keep your upper body steady throughout the movement and the weight under full control. Feel a steady, continuous tension as you raise and lower the weight. When you curl the weight to the top, feel the biceps fully contract, and at the bottom, let your biceps muscles fully stretch and extend. As with any isolation movement, the key to success is control and concentration. Think about what the muscles are doing and how they feel rather than what's happening to the weight.
The biomechanics for the curl, for instance, you want to always go through the full range of motion. Some athletes have a tendency to do these short, jerky kind of ranges. Well, there aren't many things that you do in just this motion. You want to build strength throughout that range of motion. and be in control of the resistance throughout the range of motion. You don't want to throw the weight up because, again, what goes up must come down, and then you deal with inertial forces of gravity, acceleration, as well as the weight itself.